You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Jim Chester here. We have an afternoon session of the Chiro Hustle live stream. I have Kodey Salow over here. He's the second gen Palmer rugger. We're going to talk some really cool stuff about this alumni symposium coming up April 13th and 14th. Dale Smith, I got it right. So word to you, man. Welcome to the show, Kodey. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Glad to finally be able to be in one and not just watch them all.
Yeah, you know, we just bring the chiropractic truth to people, and we deliver the fire. I think there's so much to learn about what you're doing with your career and how Palmer helped advance you into who you are today. Let's talk a little bit about your why for chiropractic and how you got into that profession. I know your dad's a DC. I know early on you told me that you had a little resistance towards joining in to following the leader type thing. But let's talk a little bit about your career so far with chiropractic.
Yeah. So, growing up, I always had an affinity for sciences. And so I knew I was going to do something in the healthcare field. And like you said, I kind of had that mentality of, don't follow in your father's footsteps, make your own path kind of thing. So, I took my time and I looked at a bunch of different paths in the medical field and ultimately decided, why am I resisting this? Because I really wasn't into, the medical mentality. And so I did a little more digging and figured out that, Palmer was really probably what I should do because it's what I had wanted to do all along. And so then, going to the Fountainhead was a no-brainer. So that was kind of how I got started.
Well, here's a good note to everybody out there. This is BJ Palmer. And every chiropractor is in the footsteps of this man. So, whether you're in the force or the flow, everybody that is a chiropractor had to follow in this man's footsteps. And I think it's an honorable thing to walk the same streets as BJ and Dee Dee and Harvey, and to know that you actually had the same footprint on the same ground and walked the same halls, and just you're a part of the history now. You're part of that time capsule of Palmer history.
Yeah, it's pretty humbling, to think that they've been in and worked in some of the same buildings that, we take classes in and, get to just walk around in every day and you never really think about it.
A lot of times I make reference to me being from Davenport, Iowa. I'm like, I grew up in the shadows of Palmer College, and people don't realize how important Palmer College is to the chiropractic profession. Without Palmer, there's no chiropractic.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's spin into rugby. I know that there's a huge thing that you're part of a big family, not just the chiropractic family, but you're part of the Palmer rugby family. How did you get into rugby, and what does it mean for you to be a part of that brotherhood?
I kind of got into rugby just, like my dad went to Palmer. He also played rugby for Palmer. And so I had known of Palmer rugby growing up and never really gave it a second thought of, playing in college. And so I was always an athletic person going in, played sports in high school, went to college, ran track. And then when I came to Palmer, I thought, maybe I should give this rugby thing a try. Didn't really know anything about it. I had just seen a couple of games and never really understood the game. But I chatted with actually Luke Stringer, who was like, yeah, mate, just come on out and we'll get you squared away. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And so that was actually one of my first contacts at Palmer was Luke Stringer, and he kind of helped me out there. So, yeah.
So I know that there's probably a lot of support once you go through the program. If you get into becoming a chiropractor, what is it like to have all those old boys and your mates as reference for you and as a resource?
Yeah, it's great. When I started playing rugby, my dad always told me, your rugby buddies will be they're your lifelong best friends. And actually, I got probably one of my best friends through Cameron Hayward at Palmer while playing. And, just being able to chat, on a weekly basis or something like that. If you're having difficulty with a patient, you needed a little input, or even, some of the older docs, they, you go to symposium and you can get their contact information, and they're more than likely to, to respond to you pretty quickly if you have any questions or need any advice. And, you can just strive to emulate some of their clinics. They have some pretty awesome clinics out there. They're working with a lot of patients and doing a lot of great things. So it's awesome to have those role models through rugby to look up to. And, that the bond that you create through playing rugby, and even, being part of the rugby alumni, runs a little deeper than just being a student at Palmer and going through the DC program. It gives it that added level of support. So,
yeah. And, it is a very prestigious tribe to run in. And, being a part of the Palmer history is one thing, but being a part of Palmer rugby is another thing. So you have a lot going for you when it comes to your resources and the depth of the lineage that you follow, man. You're part of a really cool pack of people. And
yeah, definitely.
I've had a chance to get to know quite a few of the Palmer rugby guys over the past 10 years. And, I've honestly, out of every chiropractic group I've seen, they're the tightest knit group of people that I've actually had a chance to personally be a part of.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to, especially once you get out of school and you start to realize how tight knit it is. Going through school, you always preach, the alumni are there for you. But once you get out of school and you realize that how vast the network is, and even though you don't see every doc at symposium or at homecoming, they're still there and they're still supporting and willing to help, students out. Even when we would go for rugby trips to play in a neighboring city, we had a couple times where docs would take us into their office. They'd show us around and, give you a little bit of a tutorial that way. And it was great. You don't get that any other place. So.
And the coolest thing, Kodey, is face down, Dr. Dale Smith. Everybody gets adjusted. Yeah. He's
very well known for that, especially when we used to go down for the Elvis Sevens. Staying at his place. Him and Dr. Carroll, they would, they were very, very helpful and very supportive with putting us up and feeding us and helping us out at the tournament. So.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. I've had the same treatment. They've had me down there to stay at their place and fed me quite well, and just, we're very open door to us. So, thank you, Dr. Carroll and Dr. Dale, for being such supporters of not only us, but the Palmer family. But let's switch gears a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about some of the tenets of Palmer college rugby players are three things. You give your time, your talent, and your treasure. I know you've only been out for about 2 years now, but how are you contributing to this bigger chiropractic family?
I haven't really had the chance to give much for talent back. I'd like to think, just through chatting with guys that have yet to graduate, and kind of giving them the minimal words of wisdom that I have so far. And then, obviously with time, just trying to stay involved with the program and, referring students and referring players, that kind of stuff. But also, the simplest thing is joining, when you start up a clinic, just joining Local Gold and joining the Persolvent program that do so much to, they give back quite a bit. And, if you're going to spend the money anyways, it might as well kick back to a program that you like and love. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So tell me, what is the Persolvent and what is the Local Gold? Because those sound kind of like ambiguous, but yeah. I know that they have directions that help you with the day-to-day processes of running.
Yeah. So Persolvent is the company that runs my credit card processor. In today's world, it's impossible to get by without a credit card processor. So You just sign up through them, and then they give back a percentage. I'm not sure on the exact figure, but off your total transactions for the month, they'll kick back a percentage to the alumni LLC fund. And then also, Local Gold is a program that they do a little bit of Facebook maintenance, but their main thing is website formation and maintenance, and then they help kind of keep you up on the Google web pages, so that you're working towards the top instead of being kind of lost in the mix. And the fee that they charge you, they kick back a little bit to the alumni also.
Hey man, so it's a win-win. You use good services, you get savings back that go back to the program. And honestly, you guys have now 30 full scholarships for rugby players, both men and women's team. How have you seen that help the program, and how have you seen that grow?
That's huge. So actually, when I was in school, when I started school, it was still at the 15 level. And then right when I started, they gave that challenge to the alumni to refer a certain amount of students within a year. And then when they met that, they doubled the scholarships to 30. So that allowed a lot of expansion for the women's team. And then also, in turn, expansion for the men's team to offer more money, especially for the recruiting purposes. When you're trying to recruit, top-notch players, you want to be able to offer them a little bit to appeal to them versus another school. And also, for the players like myself that, just started and didn't really know much. And so you weren't offered a scholarship initially, but as you grow as a player, you have that ability to get a little bit of financial help through the scholarship program.
That's cool. So you actually earned a scholarship, partial scholarship, as you're going through and became a rugby player. And they're like, hey, we want to help you because you helped us. Yeah,
definitely. When I started, like I said, I didn't really know anything about rugby. So there was no reason for me to have a scholarship. And I went through a trimester and decided that, I was going to forego rugby and just focus on school. And after that period of time ended, the spring was starting to roll around, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm bored out of my mind, and I need something athletic to do. So I called him back up and said, hey, I'd like to come back out, and played through the spring season, and just through improvements, got a partial scholarship, and then you just kind of work your way up.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I think it's really cool to hear the story about how you bootstrapped your way into a scholarship, and you come as a second-generation rugby player at Palmer, second-generation chiropractor through Palmer. So it's really cool to see the lineage that you're a part of and the brotherhood that you're a part of. Now let's talk a little bit about this Rugby Alumni Symposium, April 13th and 14th back at the Fountainhead, Davenport, Iowa. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you're excited to see.
I'm excited for all the speakers. Really enjoy the fire that Freddie puts into, getting everybody going. He's usually the first speaker and, kind of starts it off on a high note. And then, with Dr. Deed bringing his, he's always putting out new research. So it's always great to see, the new research that he's bringing. He always brings something new. And that's always great to see. And then Dr. Sokolov, he's gave a couple different talks. And so it's always nice to see what the NFL is doing, since they tend to, they try to be on the cutting edge for a lot of things. So it's nice to see the newer stuff that's being implemented in the sports level. And then Dr. Huron with the extremities, he's a masterful mind, and it takes a lot to tap into what he's got. But he gives his time and talent to Palmer to educate everybody on, how to be a great extremity adjuster.
You just got to pay attention.
Exactly.
I sat through and watched all of his stuff, man. That guy has such a fascinating mind, like the stuff that he knows and how he can explain it to people. You just have to pay attention.
Yep. Yeah. And then I'm really excited for our new speakers. I've never heard Dr. Hartenberg or Dr. Glowacki or Dr. Monaco speak before. So, the topics that they have with the heart rate variability and then the concussions, and I can't think of what the other one is, but off the top of my head. But
Roberto Monaco, he is
yes.
a communication specialist. He teaches people how to deliver the goods and how to talk the tick and have more self-confidence.
Yes, that one kind of escaped me. But yeah, I'm super excited, to have those new speakers and get a little different perspective from another great doctor. So
well, at this point in the interview, I know that you probably got patients to go back and see. Yeah. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Nothing really other than, get out to the symposium. You don't have to be a Rugger or even a Palmer alum to go. It's a sports symposium, and they're trying to grow it every year to appeal to more people. And, you can be safe in knowing that, what you pay for your CEs is a good price, and it's kicking back to a great program. So,
well, cool.
Be there.
Thanks for talking all things chiropractic and Palmer Rugby today. I just want to say a thank you to Dr. Matthew Walker for your leadership with chiropractic and Palmer, and for getting me involved with Palmer Rugby 10 years ago and allowing me to be a part of this greater chiropractic family. And, I just love to support people that support me. And if you guys don't know anything about this Palmer Rugby Alumni Symposium, that's April 13th and 14th, we will put the link into the comments down there. And Dr. Kodey, man, congratulations on your path of life, and thank you for sharing your insight on Palmer Rugby. And yeah, man, just keep on rocking.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, Jim.
Cool, man. And I look forward to seeing you at the symposium.
Yes.
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.